On a beautiful day, angenambo nisakile iwe baby. Kupeza mukazi, ya bala na Brazilian hair. Brazilian hair. Sinezo ziva, alibile tunachikondi. Wenze kuti mami, wenze wosowa. Wenze kuti mami, wenze wosowa. What took you so long, my baby? What took you so long, my baby? Oh, baby, ninaenda mjalo sini na kupeleke. Ninapitana chalo sina kupeleke. Baby, ninaenda.
Good morning and welcome to Zambia Blog Talk Radio. My name is Roger Charlie here in the prairies. Nice and sunny outside. Our weather is a little bit sometimes sketchy, but we've been having a wonderful summer so far. Bambalama, as you people in Zambia are complaining about the weather. Sorry for the delay. We had issues with connections. Hello, Ramalam.
Good evening. How are you?
Not too bad.
Good evening, Kasonso.
Yeah, good evening, Bamalama. Michael Ashani,
How to show mtende to alubila imwe?
Awa na ifurisha bao loloka kuno. Nakaswali loka kuliko watu. Nkurisha kwa talala.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. So today we have a wonderful discussion under the title Chitimukulu and the politics. My other guest I didn't have as his intro, but Malama is an author. Very briefly, because we had these technical difficulties, I had all your books being loaded, so we got confused. You are the author of the Fire. I like Drums of War. I like that one too. And then there is a Bitterness. Just very briefly, Ramalama, tell us about your little journey of authorship or writing.
Yeah, thank you, Rogers, and good evening. Thank you, wherever the audience is listening in and watching this particular program. I first published my first collection of poetry in 2003 under an anthology called Under the African Skies. And then 2 years later, I published Bitterness, which won an award. I was the recipient of the Ngoma Award for the Best Male Creative Writer. And then after that, I followed with another book, The Fire Article. The Fire Article is a collection of philosophical and aesthetic treatises or articles. And then after that book, then I wrote Drums of War, which was published in 2018.
Okay.
Yeah, but I've also done some other books. Like I've published a book on productivity software, which is way out of the creative range. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's called Teach Yourself Computers with a colleague of mine, James.
Oh wow! So you go.
But I've also done some other dozens of articles, and the editor for the Zambian Teacher magazine. We publish that every quarter.
Okay.
It's a book. It's like this.
Okay.
This is one edition of the Zambian Teacher magazine. And there is another edition. This is the former education minister,
Yes.
Professor Nkandiluo. And then we have another, this is one of the most brilliant Zambians, Professor Kelly, who is a renowned educationist in Zambia. And then we have another edition. This is the current head for the teaching service, the teaching service for
Wonderful.
teachers. Yeah,
Okay.
Dr. Mwanga. And then we have another edition. This was, I think, this must have been the first edition of the Zambian Teacher magazine. Then I also publish books for other people. One of the books that we've done is this one by Dr. Mujajati and Mr. Joseph Chua, Medical Law and Ethics in Zambia. We are also soon to publish another book on Likumbili Amize. There is the book on traditional medicine and knowledge in Zambia. And we are also publishing another book titled, it's on medical stores, a history of medical stores. Then there is another one that we are doing on.
So in short, you have a very good, I don't know, it's history line of work in the publishing world.
Well, yeah, some might say so, but other people have published a lot more books than I have. But,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, a bit of some work, yes.
Okay. Jones Kasonso is a PhD holder and a CPA. I add something to that, Kasonso. Your line of work, since I didn't get it. Yeah. You've also written a book, Kasonso, haven't you?
Oh yeah, I have actually. I have one published and I have two unpublished. But the topic removed from current discussion. I'm a professional accountant and a professor in the university, and I also practice. I have a practice here, an accounting practice in Titan Corner in Washington, DC here. So, but I'm particularly interested also in the welfare of our people back home in Zambia. I am also interested in social aspects of life because I have a very important mix, especially when it comes to the topic of the Chitimukulu and politics. I have a special politics. I have a mother from Zambia and a father from Solwezi. So if you look at the politics of Zambia, you are going to have to cut Zambia in half by voting blocks. There is the left and the right side. If you're using a map, and yes, and that literally splits me in two. So I'm interested and I'm very sensitive to the boiling point for the politics in both corners of the country.
Yeah. Well, that is the reason why we've brought today's discussion. But Chitimukulu and the policy and politics. Bamalama wrote a very wonderful piece about the politics, what is happening in Zambia. So we'll talk a little bit about this tribal politics in Zambia. Why are we having this? To begin with, Bamalama, you're the one who wrote that one. Give us your thought. What prompted you to write that piece on your Facebook?
Yeah, thank you very much. There are two reasons. The first one is that there was a couple of days ago, the Daily Nation, which is a tabloid, most popular in Zambia, it produced an headline that there was an alleged attempt to dethrone His Highness the Paramount Chief Chitimukulu by the UPND when they formed office in 2021. So when I read that and the background to the story, was alarmed because I think this was not the first time that there were some undercurrents between the current Bemba royal establishment and some sections of the media and the UPND in particular. So I think my broader view is that I would like His Royal Highness, the Chitimukulu, to exercise a lot of restraint in making public pronouncements, especially when he features on radio. I would propose that he does not go to the radio physically and directly, but maybe speaks through another person or a spokesperson, like the Litunga does, using some members of the Kuta, if he has to make a public pronouncement of whatever sort. Because he risks being misquoted. Because whether he is misquoted or not, whatever he says appears to reverberate negatively across various strands of society. And a lot of what he says is interpreted variously by different people, and it tends to a greater extent to divide the nation. I think that must be said. And so I would like him to tone down his public pronouncements and to refrain from making such statements that would be deemed to be ambiguous, largely, and divisive in nature. I can give an example. There was a time that he appeared I think a couple of months ago, he appeared on Radio Mano. He was talking about voter apathy in Northern Province.
Yes.
And he tried to present some statistics to that effect that the people in Northern Province were not using their majority numbers to elect people of their choice. And then he also advised that they should use that privilege to vote and emulate their counterparts in Southern Province. Now, when that came, because the constituency had changed, you know, when something is spoken to a smaller constituency like at Mano Radio, and it comes online, then the context changes because everyone said, "Oh, wow, but what is the chief talking about?" You know, it looked as if he was referring to everyone else, and there was a lot of confusion. And there were accusations from both sides of the divide, the opposition and the ruling MMD, who were to a large extent in support or trying to defend the Chitimukulu. Yeah. So my view is that the paramount chief should restrain his pronouncement.
Just on that, you made a suggestion where the Chitimukulu should stay at the palace, but probably the bigger picture is not where he says these things. The bigger story is why he keeps doing this. That is my
I think for me,
my worry. Just keep it brief and then with Reg to work as well. Why do you think like Chitimukulu is doing what he's doing right now?
Yeah, first of all, we should acknowledge that the current chief, before he became paramount chief, well, he's a scholar, he's a historian, and he had been contributing articles for a long time before he became chief, and scholarly debate on various political, socio-economic issues in Zambia, and this has not stopped. So now his stature in society has changed. And so if he begins to write articles, like for instance, the recent article he wrote, or one that is alleged to have been written by him, is titled, Alleged UPND Plot Against Chitimukulu, Kaluruta Kusuka Mipia IVD, Part 3. So where he says that in March 2018, Patrick Mucheleka, who is a senior UPND member, had told a Mr. Kangwa Mucheleka of Undola, who happens to be a member of the Bemba royal family, that when the UPND gets into office next year, which is 2021, they would depose the Chitimukulu, because the Chitimukulu, according to that statement, is not a genuine successor to the throne. Now, you can also this debate about whether the Chitimukulu is a genuine successor to the throne, his current throne, did not start today. It started way before he was attempting to get onto the throne under the reign of the late President Michael Sata, because actually the late President Michael Sata prevented in 2013. That was in November. I think he sent about 500 police officers.
Yes.
Yeah, to stop the coronation of the chief. And you know, the PF, the political spaces in Zambia are such that the founder member carries the official narrative of what to say and what not to say. And therefore, since the late President Sata had not wanted Mr. Sosala at that time to become Paramount Chief Chitimukulu, then therefore every member of the Patriotic Front had to toe the line. That was official. Now, following the death of the Patriotic Front, and let me also add that at that time, the Minister of Home Affairs, who was also part of the
who sent the police?
Yes,
yeah,
who
sent the police?
Yes, it was our incumbent, His Excellency, the President Edgar Chagwa Lungu. Yeah, but ironically, again, when he was put on the throne in 2015, the person who presided over the ceremony, so to speak, or who was invited to kind of represent the government was Mr. Edgar Lungu. Yeah, but on the other hand, during the altercation between the PF and the late Michael Sata.
Good point. Yes.
Yeah, and the Chitimukulu, the people who supported or who stood with the Chitimukulu or Mr. Sosala were the opposition. So there is a huge sense of irony here. Yeah.
Okay.
So I find it very strange right now. That,
your thought. Yeah. Your thought, Wakasonso. Let Wakasonso come in. You continue.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, Wakasonso, your thought as well on the question of why he is doing this.
Yeah, we have to first of all express a lot of respect to the Royal Highness, and also accept that he, as a Zambian citizen, he is amenable to freedom of speech like any one of us, and he can say what he wants to say using the platform that he chooses and the method that he chooses. You know, that's a given. And I also should also acknowledge that I'm an admirer of His Royal Highness. One thing that he did recently to try and connect with the American indigenous tribes and learn from them how they have integrated into the fabric of the American society that has been changed and transformed over the last 300 years because of the immigrants from Europe now who comprise the dominant caste in American society. So I thought those are some of the efforts that are admirable. I was not familiar with the reasons why the former president was preventing him from taking the throne. For the most part, when we're reading things and hearing about this, it sounded like they are just a personal fight that probably predates any of us, you know, when we were born or whatever. They had some personal beef and even discussions, because I didn't see how President Tahuj himself is not a chief or in the bloodline, the direct bloodline of the chief, would be so engrossed in the Royal Highness's succession. What I have to say on why I think he says this, first of all, if the UPND have such a plan to dethrone His Royal Highness, the Chitimukulu. That's very unfortunate. But we must also recognize that there are ways and mechanisms through which he can express such plots, and also he can, have recourse to such action. But the way it appears to me is that the Chitimukulu is unfortunately doing something that we all don't like. What he's doing is a dog whistle. He's a dog whistle.
Exactly.
He is trying to, he appears to be stimulating his tribe's passion against a political party. We can't deny it. Tribe is always a part of our politics. Whether we do our politics in Zambia or we do our politics in the United States, tribe is part of it. But when we front tribe in the mouth and as part of the political message, then we are creating anarchy and chaos in the country. For example, the Chief Chitimukulu, when he says that this political party is trying to dethrone him, how does it resonate to the people who speak his language, or to the people who are affiliated to the tribes? It puts them on alert that if this party comes into power, or if this party aspires to lead the country, then it is standing against our heritage, and they are trying to overthrow our heritage. And that is a very, very serious accusation to make in the context of the One Zambia. As an older man who was there when independence was fought, and through the years when our past politicians have worked hard to try and bring the country together, I think those very unfortunate. What are some of the things I wanted to appeal to His Royal Highness is, first of all, he must show love of country more than his hold on the kingdom. He must show love of country more than his hold on the kingdom. Love of country is that we are Zambia, we are better off together, united as a front. We can differ on our politics, but we can demonize each other, and we cannot say this part of Zambia is not Zambian, isn't Zambian. But time you are in the same border, and we have fought all the important wars together as a nation. So as a senior statesman, I would appeal to the for country than just the love on hold on power. And let's be honest. His Royal Highness, almost 80 years old. So he's in the twilight of his life. His past evening is that evening which is dark. So he must also think, what type of a country does he want to live us with?
Yes.
The elections are not about fighting past things. The elections are about crafting a future for the country. The elections are about crafting a destiny for the children who are not yet born. What vision does it show us? When he inserts his throne, what is his throne worth to anybody? Apart from the traditions and the things. So him, as a traditional figure and a person of authority, should show more love for country. The second thing I want to say, Chitimukulu must show love for his own subjects. Must show love for his own subjects. We know that amongst the people who are even competing to be president, there is a subject of his next to just his village. The Reverend Dr. Nevasumba. We never hear him support him. We never hear him back him. And instead, his loyalty is to his non-subject for immediate political benefit, it would appear to me. So we must challenge our senior statesman to show more love for his own people, for his own subject. If he thinks that the people from Southern Province are the other group, and the people who speak his language are his people, then he should also show more love for his subject. Let him come out and give full political support to his subject, the Reverend Dr. Nevas Mumba, because he comes from a village close to where he is. And also, Chiti must strengthen his kingdom with a long-term view. The Bemba kingdom of 76 years ago is not the same as today. There are many subjects of that kingdom who have nothing to do with who don't live within those borders, and also who come from mixed heritages. For example, I don't directly come from the Chitimukulu area. My mother does come from there, but my mother is Bemba speaking from Zambia, and my father comes from the other half of the country in Solwezi. So I am loyal to the Bemba speaking, and that's why I speak my mother's language, because I grew up in her village. And also I speak my dad's language very fluently because I also grew up sometime there. So we have these mixed heritages, so that if we inject tribe as the primary platform on which we are going to vote or elect, we are going to have a bloody country, and this, His Royal Highness must save us from this divisive type of conversation, because some of us, you can't split us. What are you going to do us? You carry a knife, inina mwifumo lyababayo abalanda ekibemba kuba kyashibanda bawamene bakaonde nomba mwalanti tashani bachitimukulu imwe mwalambika pesa ndi mwina fyalo na ngunayo na nini nkwata mu heritage mu society. It's a serious. The composition of the Bemba demographic have become as diverse, and we don't need such talk. We need him to pour out the best of his wisdom on this nation, and not his divisive talk or petty fights over a kingdom. How many years is he even going to govern? Yeah, how many days has God given him, even if that is the case? He can even focus on grooming the next one, who is going to be the paramount chief in that type of arrangement. And the chiefs must work with whichever government the people elect. Yes, they can participate in politics, but directly taking a side against a political party because it's presidency from the other part of the country is very retrogressive and very pervasive. So our Royal Highness must be able to do better and should show us better. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for that long talk, because I was having difficulties here. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry for that. But thank you for your analysis, Wakasonso. It's going to help us. I have to switch computers. The other one screen you can see is not that well developed. In your piece, so gentlemen, you all gave very long ones. Now I would like you to just be nice and precise, and that way we can cover as much ground. We have about 30 minutes to go. The chief may be, you said, Malama, may be becoming embroiled in petty politics.
Yeah.
Doesn't he risk being disrespected by the subjects? Because within that kingdom, there are Bembas who support UPND. Within the kingdom, there are Bembas who support PF. What is he doing? Doesn't that bring the pettiness you are talking about here? Are the insults? He may just call insults. So like I also said, he may, we still need to respect him, but what is he doing when he involves himself into this petty politics?
Yeah, precisely. That is my biggest worry, because when a person of such stature in society and should I say command begins to speak, then he speaks to everyone. Everyone is a subject of the chief. We are all subjects. In January I was in Mungwe to bury my brother Augustine Muad passed on in actually Chief Chitimukulu's area. And so I am also his subject, because on my mother's side, I'm from the northern. On my dad's side, I'm from Luapula province. But let me just give you a very simple illustration of how this is. According to the article, which is purported to have been written by the paramount chief himself, titled "Alleged UPND Plot Against Chief Chitimukulu Kaluluta Kusukami Pwaibiri." There are two critical quotes. One is, he says that according to him, he feels offended by the fact that some members of the opposition alliance, for instance, the spokesperson of such an alliance, Mr. James Kasanda Lukulu, had said, and let me quote, he says, it is a responsibility of the highest order for the Chitimukulu to publish sectarianism, regionalism, and tribalism on a radio program from a radio station called Mano in Kasama. Being a chief is not a passport for segregating our people away from the spirit of one Zambia, one nation, and neither is it a passport for you not to expect to be challenged. So that is what the chief had quoted as the reason why he feels offended. Now, let me also quote on the other camp, on the Bemba Royal Establishment camp. He said, and this was a statement that was approved by the Bemba chiefs, Mumpolokoso, Mukwikile, Shibualia Kapila, Bubanga, Chipalo, Luchembe, and Chief Chikwanda. They had said, we wish to make it clear that we are now fed up with the utterances and all demeaning remarks by one of your senior members of UPND Management Committee. When you fight the paramount chief, you fight the entire Bemba tribe. We shall therefore explain to all our village headmen about the UPND intentions. That is the intention to dethrone the Chief Chitimukulu next year, assuming that they came into power. Now, this is the danger, because this thing is now back and forth. There is, on the other hand, the Chief Chitimukulu Royal Establishment trying to push their case, and on the other hand, there is the opposition also trying to put their case, and on the other hand, there is the Patriotic Front, some senior members of the Patriotic Front who are using this narrative to create some kind of, or to fund a fire to inflame the situation.
Yes.
Yeah. And this is dangerous.
Yes.
Because like you had said, within the Luvemba society, so to speak, there are members of the UPND. There are members of the New Hope MMD. There are members of different, the PF, there are members of different political affiliations and beliefs. And there are people who are neutral. So if there are these squabbles, so to speak, between His Royal Highness, what he says, and what other people perceive that he had said, then that will create a lot of tension within the Bemba community, or the Bemba nation, so to speak, and others. So this is it's quite delicate, and it has the potential to explode further. Yeah, because like Dr. Kasonso had said, we need to unify a country. The paramount chief is a father to everyone. He's a father to me. He's a father to you. He's a father to everyone, and he should be the unifying voice. If we differ amongst ourselves, it should be one of those to put us together, so that we are taught to argue or debate peacefully and amicably, rather than what it is. Because the fire and the exchange of bitter words are being produced from himself, as he appears either on radio or maybe he writes an article.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Because also the bigger picture, as we will come back to the chief, Vamalama here has said the PF, working with the PF, I don't know, I'm misquoting him, but working with the PF, the chief has seemed to be sidelining with one camp. And that is the main question I think I would like to ask. The PF as a party,
yes.
Why do you think they are pushing this narrative, the tribal narrative? They are not small people, children. They know what happens if the country get divided. Why are they pushing this tribal narrative, the PF? By the way, I have a video I'm going to show from Rwanda for 2 minutes, so that people can begin to understand. Why are the PF pushing the tribal narrative?
Number one,
keep it nice and short, and then we'll.
Yeah, number one, first of all, we are one Zambia and we are one people, and the elections must be won on merit, and the person who casts the most constructive view of our future as a country. Clearly, the current Patriotic Front may have made a calculation that they are not able to win the election on merit. So when they cast this narrative of an intertribal war, it's dangerous, by the way, very, very dangerous.
Yes,
but
yes, we'll see a video. Yes,
but it's a winning strategy in the sense that the people who speak Bemba, comprise the majority of the voters in Zambia. That is the truth. So if you position this party as anti that group, then you are going to get votes from people based on their anger towards another group, and that is playing with fire. That's playing with fire, because the people, especially who are in government, first of all, just look at their cabinet. Their cabinet. How many people are participating in the cabinet of Zambia from the other half of Zambia, from the Zambezi provinces? How many people are participating, even just in the leadership of the country? Zero. So you are having what they're trying to impose is what we might call the mutiny of the majority. The mutiny of the majority, where you use your numbers and you accuse the other people of perversive behavior so that you can generate the anger of the people in the corner to exclude everything else and just vote on that issue. And that's very, very dangerous. So we must be able to call them out. If they want to win an election, win the election on merit. Stop the dog whistle, and stop stalking the tribal talk. You know, and if they want a divided country, even them, they will not be able to govern it. Even them, they will not be able to govern
exactly.
it. Because
that's a good point.
You can only oppress and suppress people for a period of time. But the way we have to live as a nation is we are a collection of families from different villages. And then we move together based on the best program of action, rather than starting direct tribalism and stalking tribal fears and all those kind of things. The politics of the 21st century must be able to move us from there.
We've had the reign of Kaunda, we had Chiluba, we had Mwanawasa, Wabanda. I'm not sure we had the level of tribal politics at this level, and we should stand up and condemn it. Here is a video from Rwanda. It's 2 minutes. Please watch it, because there are some questions I would like to pose. You say, Bakasonso, it's dangerous. Let's not just say it's dangerous as a way to know. It's real dangerous. People should watch this video. By the way, it's graphic. If you don't like graphic stuff, don't watch it. It's 2 minutes. This is a video from Rwanda.
Exodus has done very little to relieve the desperate need for Western aid in the refugee camps of Zaire. And although Canada, the United States,
the French army struggle to keep up, more and more questions are raised about how little the West has done and how late it's come.
Sustained gunfire and grenade explosions started in the center of town just before dawn and are continuing.
Underlying intertribal tensions have again exploded into violence, apparently with thousands dead, as rebel forces from the minority Tutsi tribe appear to be fighting the army dominated by the majority Hutus.
African state of Rwanda say an estimated 20,000 people have now died in 4 days of fighting.
Altogether, it's estimated that more than 1 million people have been forced from their homes by a campaign of butchery that shows no sign of ending.
Men accused of wielding the machetes are still at large, tolerated or even encouraged by the government.
The rebels say they are determined to take the whole country. So far, their advance has been steady through the north and east of Rwanda. They say their aim is to save their civilian supporters from being massacred by government militias. Hundreds of thousands of people have been...
I'll cut it short. Bakatulende, just looking at those pictures, people who try to promote tribal politics, do they have these calculations in mind?
Probably yes and no. Yes, in the sense that maybe they might want to capitalize on this tribal sentiment to drive a political agenda. But then in the long run, things become so wild that they are unable to arrest
control
the
the fire.
And, yeah, everything just degenerates. And that's, when like you said, if a certain section, first of all, every Zambian has a right to participate in the political space in this country. They have those constitutional rights to move freely and to campaign, to assemble, to express themselves about their country. That is their constitutional right. If you look at what's been happening, for instance, some political opposition members have been banned from entering and assembling and mobilizing in the so-called Bemba speaking areas. For example, in Muchinga, in Luapula, in Northern Province. Now that's dangerous, because you cannot prevent a Zambian from mobilizing their supporters in any part of the country.
And then the other half also will probably start mobilizing. You cannot come here.
Yeah, because when you begin to say that, it simply means that certain Zambians are excluded from certain things, the enjoyment of their political rights, more than the other Zambians, that they are less Zambian than other Zambians, so to speak.
Exactly.
And so that is very dangerous. And to use the Rwandan narrative, the pictures that we had seen, that must be at the heart of every Zambian. We shouldn't get that far. We should not do anything even closer to what the Rwandans had gone through, because the consequences of such a scenario would be incalculable. First of all, it would cost human lives, displacement of people. That's what war does. It takes you 40 years behind in terms of economic development. You lose the peace. If you lose the peace, you lose everything. Yeah, and so we shouldn't go that route. Now, it all starts with how we use our political rhetoric, how our traditional leaders, for instance, express themselves, and how that expression is used by political leaders to carry a certain narrative so that they create some leverage and hegemony over others, unfairly, I'm afraid. So I think we have to learn. We should use Rwanda and other countries that have experienced these catastrophic social strifes, so that we better the way we are dealing with our political capital, the political space in this country, so that we create a one Zambia, one nation for our children to grow happily in and to express their fullest potential. Yeah.
Let's see what people are saying. Also, before you come in, our brother Minemusunga says Lungu was a mole in the SAT administration when he was the Minister of Home Affairs. He was leaking the information from State House into public security. I'm not sure how to decode that one. Vasikana, in wherever he is, nice to see you. Mama Katuren, the author, my friend, watching from Nairobi. Our sister Winnie Musonda, I don't know what she has said there. Some sign. Back to Vasikana, she's saying, going forward, what should then be done to ensure there's a reconciliation? Because it looks like the fire has started. Can the elders assist? Yeah, watching from Ipswich, that is my Kaonde elder sister there in Ipswich in the UK. What should be done? I think that's a question. Before I mean, if you were watching, I don't know what you wanted to say, Bakasoso. If you were watching,
what should be done?
Okay, go ahead, but do it quickly because I want to.
What should be done here is that, for example, the Bemba Kingdom. The Bemba Kingdom is transcends Northern Province. The pure Bemba Kingdom transcends Northern Province, part of Northern Province and Muchinga. Yeah, but the Bemba speaking, if you say Bemba speaking, then you include Luapula. So what needs to be done is for the chiefs in Luapula Province to stand up against this beginning genocide that Chitimukulu wants to impose on the nation through the Patriotic Front government. Those people can stop the fire. The chiefs in Luapula Province can stop the fire by standing up against this prospective genocide that His Royal Highness, the Chief Chitimukulu, now wants to start. And two, this will sound very well on the other side. It's the people in non-Bemba speaking regions. They must prepare for the West, because usually when you're not ready, that is when you have a situation like they had in Rwanda. These people are coming after your villages. These people are coming after your children. These people are coming after your heritage. What they want is to perpetuate the mutiny of the majority by using the tribe as a whipping stick and as a scepter of power. So the non-Bemba speaking region, what I can encourage is prepare for the West and prepare to fight for your rights, prepare to fight for rights both verbally and practically and physically. Prepare to fight. Don't surrender. What bullies do is once they see fear in you, they continue to bully others. Don't let a traditional establishment bully the other regions or bully your villages. Stand up, and because if you don't do that, then you will capsize under this mutiny, the mutiny of the majority. So if we can do both the other Bemba-speaking tribes that do not directly subscribe to the royal establishment stand up also as a group and diffuse these tensions, that will help. But most importantly, non-Bemba-speaking regions must prepare for the West. Otherwise, we are going into 2021 and it's going to be Rwanda. It doesn't seem to me that the current administration has a program. So they are stoking this tribal sentiment. And these are dangerous and it can lead to people being killed. So people must be prepared to fight for their villages, fight for their future, and fight for their country.
That's scary. Because that's scary. But,
I think what should, from my perspective, what needs to be done, there are different stakeholders and that can come in to try to calm things down. For example, we have the church. The church mother bodies can get President Lungu and other opposition leaders to calm down and identify areas of concern. For example, the application of the Public Order Act. It's not even. It's not on a level field for everyone. The exercise of individual rights to assemble and to protest. Just a few weeks ago, some youths wanted to protest and they were prevented from doing that, and they ended up protesting in the bush. That is not good for a democracy, and also it's also not good for democracy. For instance, there was a Kabwe Central Member of Parliament, Mr. Tutu, who said that those who would protest must have their legs broken, by the police. I think that's not okay. But for me, what is giving me some hope, I think in the recent past, after some PF cadres that stormed the police station, the Lusaka Central Police Station, and gotten away with I think some cash, and they beat up some police officers. There was a statement from the police, Zambia Police Service, that they would deal with cadres, regardless of their political affiliation. That is good. then we should also involve the House of Chiefs to try to calm things down. The House of Chiefs. There are other non-governmental organizations like CIDA, which is a new organization.
All these we are mentioning, Malama.
Yeah.
All these we are
Yes.
mentioning. If the elder statesman, the president of Zambia, is not responsible the way, to me, he has shown not to be responsible, because, like Vakasonso has said, he wants to win the election at any cost. All these groups can meet. All these groups can come together, can meet. If the elder statesman is not responsible, do you think we can achieve anything?
Well, I think that it will be difficult, yes, but I think that one individual is not greater than the entire nation. I think the Zambians that stopped the third term debate during the Frederick Chiluba era, they had stopped the Kaunda. They changed from a one-party state to multi-party politics. And so if we have a unified voice, because it's our entire country at stake.
At stake, that's right.
Yeah, it is our entire country at
There's
stake.
no winner in these things.
Yeah, there's no winner because everyone will start running for their safety, you know. And for me, on the other hand, my biggest concern is the militarization of political cadres from both divides. If you look at some pictures of PF cadres and some pictures of maybe UPND cadres, they look in military uniforms for the most part, and they try to project that image of force. Some of them they are weaponized.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is not good. This is very, very dangerous.
If you follow the story of Rwanda when it started, it was the militias who were in government. They were well organized with machetes. They were armed with machetes. To me, this is a very good discussion, gentlemen. It is right in their face. If they think every day they'll be hiding, oh, it's a Tongas, or it is this, we are bringing it to them. This is a very dangerous game Mr. Lungu is playing. Let me put up this write-up, which you say here, Malama.
Yes.
You say, and to my Bemba-speaking citizens, and to my Bemba-speaking citizens, so much injustice, persecution, and crime is being committed in your name. It is time to stand up and refuse to be used in things which don't make sense. I'll read that again. Doesn't matter. And to my Bemba-speaking citizens, so much injustice, persecution, and crime is being committed in your name. It is time to stand up and refuse to be used in things which don't make sense. What is surprising, Vakasonso, is when Wankanduluo goes to speak against the Tonga was it in Chilubi? In Chilubi, yes. Or wherever they are doing this. You would think the president of Zambia comes from Northern Province. No, it doesn't come from Northern Province. It comes from Chipata. And yet the tribal war is being waged using the Bemba name.
Yeah.
The question is either one, Mr. Lungu is using these people, our Bemba friends, they are being used, or as a clan, the Bemba people have accepted that the other people shouldn't come in. But I'm just surprised how they accept as a people, like my brother said here, to be used. You will never hear Minister Mwale saying a Tonga is bad. No. Syria maybe can go, but all these Chipata people, you never hear them. This Tonga stuff, it's done by our friends in the northern power. Why are they being allowed? Number one, the environment. Why is the environment suitable for this kind of nonsense.
Yeah. I lost a little bit of the hearing. I couldn't hear the last part. Yeah, so yeah, the whole concept of some politicians going to the area to campaign purely on tribe, then you know that as a country, we've really run out of ideas. You know, it's a bankruptcy of ideas.
Exactly.
Yeah, we have really run out of ideas. It's really a bankruptcy of ideas. We don't have to put tribe on our lips. If you, for example, you have one name and you stand in the other region, the families in that region will not identify you. Yeah, so this whole thing of using the Bemba speaking groups to the advantage of another group, it's really pathetic. For example, Mr. Lungu does not have any of his parents come from the Bemba speaking groups. So Mr. Malama was right. Mr. Malama was right. So much injustice being committed in the name of the Bemba speaking people. I think the people in Lubemba and the people in all the regions that speak Bemba must stand up and say no. Like Mr. Chilufya here is saying, Bembas haven't accepted this nonsense. So the Bembas who haven't accepted this nonsense must come out and speak up, because we can't run our politics just on the boundaries of our tribes. Our politics in the 21st century should be an interplay of ideas on how we are going to improve the commonwealth welfare of our people, how the Commonwealth of Zambia is going to be advanced. You know, that is what we should do. And even the laws that we create, how do these laws help our country? And, you know, we are here trying to fight for diminishing governmental power due to heavy borrowings. We are fighting for a small piece of the cake. But if we are together as Zambians, we can expand the cake and make sure that variumwa namalayambi ni machainishi na bambabulwa ni poshimisha fuma kumpanga shimbi not bali abo tuachudi nabo kufuma putwapangire chalo cha Zambia. So, you know, we have to push this agenda of, you know, the one Zambia talk. And also, let me also say this. We shouldn't also forget to not make the Tonga-speaking people as if they are the victims of tribalism. If we also have situations of acute tribalism in some of their regions, and they also must hear this message, that when there is a mutiny of the majority, we are all losers. There are no winners in this ball game. Yeah, but we cannot take the tribal constructs to be the only issues on which we are splitting or sharing authority and leadership positions in the country. So the Bembas speaking people must recognize their power at the ballot. As long as we are a country and we are Zambia, you cannot be a president of Zambia without the say of the Bemba speaking group, because that is the largest block of voters. So the people also in the UPND must work on mechanisms to build stronger partnerships with other families in Bemba speaking communities. Of course, you cannot do that if the political party in power is sending police and is blocking you and is not giving you ability to have access to that. But there are people who come from those regions. They should be able to create workable coalitions with the other families so that the political platform on which we are standing as a country is a unified one.
But Madam Wakasonso says they've run out of ideas. No ideas, governing ideas. When you think about all this tribal thing we are talking about, Kasama General Hospital, I'm not sure it is filled with medicines, or we go to Chipata General Hospital. I'm not sure it has what is required to run a hospital. We go to Mansa. So our leaders, they would rather fight the tribal thing because we are not going to be talking about kumansa ushomutengo wabunga ku Kasama is different from Choma or from Solwezi. It is the same.
No.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, in January when I lost my brother, Augustine, I was in Kasama. It's been long since I was in Northern Province. And what shocked me was the level of poverty in that area. Yeah, the Kasama General Hospital, you can see the bed. The beds for patients, you go to the toilets, they are broken. You go to the mortuary, it's not in good state. And if you look at the general welfare of people, how they are street vending and how they are making a living, this is typical of every situation, whether you are in Zambia, whether you are in Eastern Province, or whether you are in Monze or Kazungula or anywhere else. So Zambians must be united by the problems that they face to find a common denominator or a common solution that should help their country forge ahead. And so whether or not the next president will be a Tonga or a Lozi or a Kaonde should not matter, because what should matter is the performance or the merit of that individual to deliver. I think you should be able to discuss those values, its performance and accountability, and what you bring to the table. That should count, and not whether you belong to the Bemba group or whether you belong to the Tonga group or the Lozi group. I think that shouldn't count. Zambia is faced with a mammoth task. We have a huge debt burden, which is about $15 billion, I suppose. Unemployment levels are extremely high. They are over 60%. Most of our youth are doing nothing. They are just hanging around, drinking beer for the most part. And some of them, or most of them, are getting involved in crime. We have very few industrial incentives to get the majority of Zambians out of poverty. So we need answers, and we can't postpone these questions. We need answers. People have to bring food on their tables so that they can eat. Early this year, we had the issue of gassing, where Zambians were gassed, and the terror spread to the entire nation. It was not just restricted in the Copper Belt. No, everyone was worried. They were concerned, and so it's a Zambian problem. So we have a problem at hand, and we should resolve it. So the tribal tag or the tribal narrative must not work. So we have to challenge our traditional leaders, whether it is Paramount Chief Chitimukulu or whether it is Chief Mukuni of the Tokalea in Kazungula, or whether it is the Mpezeni in Eastern Province or anyone else. Yeah, we've got to challenge them to help us build this nation as a one Zambia, one nation. Because our kids now, some of them may have been, their parents may have married a Lozi, and the other one would be.
They don't really care.
Yeah, and saying, they don't care. They don't care about it. So why should the tribe be the most important thing? And whoever in the political space begins to use this narrative to win political capital must be discouraged. We should shut them down. We should say, no, Zambia is bigger than the tribe. We are one Zambia, one nation. Whether it is HH who should be deemed to be popular, let it be. Whether it is someone else, let it be. Yeah, but we should not play divisive politics, or we should not allow a situation where some of our people, whether traditional leaders or anything, try to divide the country through some statements that they are making.
We've lived well. I mean, some of us who were born in the Copper Belt. I can tell you in E section where I lived, To the south of our house were people from Tanzania. To the left, Tumbuka. To the north, pana mulenga paja. Baresi chapone vange. Pana mulenga. So we were everyone. Everybody was there. About Malawi, about Tanzania. We thought it's now, Malama, that I've grown up. Now I know that, Malawi Charo Chimbi. I used to think Malawi was just some district within Zambia. We were that close.
Yeah.
That's Kumain, you know? And today, to just come up and say, okay, the winning strategy will be tribe, because we are going to spend so much time talking about tribe, we forget that Tamuri Umuti Mukasama General Hospital. People forget. You know, we are forgetting about tribe. You know, I don't know. Anyway, go ahead, Papa.
Yeah, you know, it's from the institutions where we are educated. For example, at CBU or maybe the University of Zambia or different colleges, people from different ethnic backgrounds merge, and they are united by the courses that they do. And some of their best, like for instance, I was at the University of Zambia. My best friends who came to help me in maybe doing research or some things, maybe Ndalama BC, what they call BC or an allowance at the University of Zambia, you've consumed it. I would ask Mino, who was my Lozi friend, my best friend, even up to today. I have very good Tonga friends. Most of them are now professors, you know, and there was no question of tribe, and there was no question of anything. I had some white friends, and I think this is the kind of Zambia that I would like to live in.
Yes.
Where you are looked at, not because of the where your name might have come from, whether you are Katurwende, I think you are Kula, or maybe, you know, this guy must be from Western Province or from Mongo or from Monze or from some other place. I think that shouldn't be the case. You know, because if we begin to divide this country on ethnic lines and inclinations, then we are headed for trouble.
Yeah,
we are headed for trouble.
I like what Dr. Kajira here is saying. Tribal politics should be dumped in the dustbin. Let's think bigger. If you see the problems of Africa, Wakasonso, here is Zambia with their small economy. Here is Malawi with their small economy. We can't even trade together. And now you want to go in a country and divide the already small economy. You want to divide it. It doesn't make any sense. Let's close, Wakasonso. Yeah.
No.
But before we close, I like what Malama has said. As individuals, I'm not sure what we can do, Malama, with the support of the people back home, here in diaspora, how we can begin to mobilize our chiefs. I think Wakasonso also talked about that. If we mobilize, we go to our own Kaonde chiefs, money I'm not sure even the Lungos of this world, their envelopes will do will do the damage. But right now, I think Yarama picture should scare everyone. Yeah. Close last week. Okay, I'll give you now last week.
Yeah. So His Royal Highness, the Chief Chitimukulu, should have mercy on us. It's the twilight of his life, and he should not leave us a country on fire. So let him stop what he's doing.
Yes.
And he should help us by loving the country more than what is currently doing. We have seen the patriotic front. The country, there was gassing in the country, but we shouldn't also forget there was a burning of the market. Yeah. We cannot underestimate. We have not been taught by our government who did that, and they were not even arrested. If they were arrested, we haven't even heard anything about that case.
Exactly.
So, the assumption that we must work with is that the government of Zambia, through the Patriotic Front, was gassing the people because they haven't told us who did that, and their government. So they were the ones doing that. They also were burning the market. When they start this tribal war, they are preparing for genocide. So as the whole country, we must prepare to stop that, and we must be able to retire a failing government with whichever government is there. So His Royal Highness, if he really loves the Bemba people, let him support the Reverend Dr. Neva Tumumba. That is his direct subject from his village. And let him not go and be used by other people and pay him money, and then they come and set up the country on fire. We're a better country. Together we are better than divided. And we, from every tribe and from every district, can come up with a collective good and a common good and build a republic for the benefit of everybody, whether they are Bemba, Tonga, and other tribes. We can do that. We can do that. So we must continue to tell our people that this dangerous conversation that they are starting, the politics of militancy and fighting on the street, that's the beginning of the genocide, and we must stop the PF government in its tracks if it wants to impose a country on us that nobody can live in. So we have to be able to be careful with that.
Last word, Wamala.
Yeah, thank you. Like I said at the beginning, I would like to urge His Royal Highness the Paramount Chief Chitimukulu, not to be tempted to go to radio stations and make pronouncements on radio where he's asked questions and then he answers, because on 2 or more occasions, the recordings of those radio interviews have tended to create more controversy than anything else. And so what I would propose is that he engages maybe a spokesperson who should be doing the PR for him or for the Bemba Royal establishment in reaching out to his community or to the country as a whole. Then the other thing that I would like to say is that what is pertinent to the Chitimukulu, or what applies to the Chitimukulu, also applies to every other chief or paramount chief in the country. All the chiefs have a role to play in this country by building our various ethnic groupings together as one Zambia, one nation. That is what we need. They are our parents, they are our fathers. Where we differ individually or communally, they should be able to come forward and give us their words of wisdom so that we live in harmony with each other. And then secondly, a tribe or a tribal tag does not define an individual in this country, or we should not allow the tag of a tribe that you are Bemba, you are Tonga, you are Lozi, you are Lenje, to divide someone. I think what should be of importance is the merit. How much can you bring to the table? How much can you perform? What are the skills that you are bringing to create solutions in terms of business enterprises and initiatives for your country? What can you do to your country to solve those problems? So for me, if a Tonga guy comes forward and said, look, this is what I can do, that's okay. I'm okay with it. If it's a Lenje, if it's a Kaonde, if it's a Luvale, that's fine. Because we as a country should not exist in the 18th century where our interests and affinities should be defined on the basis of a clan or tribal leanings. Those years are past. We are in the 21st century. Actually, we are, as we speak, Rogers and Dr. Kasonso, we are in a virtual environment, and a lot of people are existing. So how do we define ourselves? Maybe we should define ourselves cyberly, like the cyber identities, but not on the basis of a tribe, because Zambia is our bigger project. It has so many problems. So let us try to solve those problems. Let us be balanced. Let us be calm. Let us triumph over all these problems and challenges as one Zambia and one nation. Thank you.
Yeah, so I like the idea. I think our resolution, the 3 of us, to push first and foremost our chiefs we should bring them one way or another. I don't know. I'm sure we can raise money. If they want a nice little conference where, Vane, we want you to come up with one single statement of bringing this country together. Don't accept, well, these envelopes, you can accept them, but don't accept dividing your own people. Okay, gentlemen, thank you for your time. Until next week, when we bring in some, we have a brother who is keeping goats, Bakasonso, as a farm in Georgia. So we will have a nice discussion about that. Have a good weekend, everyone. Thank you.
All right.
Thank
okay.
You.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Ninapitana chalo sina kupenda baby, ninaenda Amerika, ninaenda Australia, ninasaki ninaenda Nigeria, ninaenda Tanzania, ninasaki la kasi mwenze kwa George. On a beautiful day, angenambo nisakile iwe baby, kupeza mukazi, ya bala na Brazilian hair, Brazilian hair, sinezo siva, alibile tunachikondi, wenze kutimambi, wenze wosowa, wenze kutimambi, wenze wosowa. What took you so long, my baby? What took you so long, my baby? Oh, baby, ninaenda mjalo sini na kupenda. Ninapitana chalo sina kupenda baby, ninaenda Amerika, ninaenda Australia, ninasaki na chalo sina kupenda baby, ninaenda Nigeria, ninaenda Tanzania, ninasaki la kansi mwenze kwa George. Sancho, kuliwacha beto fanya musimba wa nene, betashale sakabunga bakuntungulula lelo, wacha benga telekele. Sancho, wacha benga bezu landi zangila ine. Ninaenda mjalo sini na kupenda. Ninapitana chalo sini na kupenda baby, ninaenda Amerika, ninaenda Australia, ninasakila chalo sini na kupenda baby, ninaenda Nigeria, ninaenda Tanzania, ninasakila kasi mwenze kwa George. By George. By George. By George. Oh, baby, now well I need her. By George. Come, baby, take full away. By George.